Yeah. Good morning to everyone and welcome to supply chain management online classes. Okay. So today we are going to continue with chapter from unit 2. Okay, that is supply chain drivers and obstacles. Okay. So let me share the PowerPoint slides with you. Students, can you see the PowerPoint slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay. So I hope you can recall. Okay. Like last Friday, okay, we have discussed about beginning of supply chain drivers. Okay, so what exactly are supply chain drivers? Okay, then we learned about what are the drivers of supply chain performance. Okay, and we made a beginning with understanding what are each type of drivers like facilities, inventory, transportation, information sourcing, and pricing. So facilities, inventory, and transportation are classified as logistical drivers, and information, sourcing, and pricing were classified as cross-functional drivers. Okay. So then we started to understand in detail what is each type of driver and how they influence responsiveness and efficiency of any supply chain. Okay, which in turn influences performance of any supply chain. Okay, so in the previous class we have discussed about what are component facilities, so warehouses or assembly plants or manufacturing plants. Okay, what is the role of facility in the supply chain? What is the role of facility in the competitive strategy? Okay, then what are the decisions that are taken with respect to facilities? Like what role the facility should play, what should be the location of the facilities, right? Then we consider the example of Tesla's entry into India. It is planning, it has not yet entered. Okay, so they are planning to have 3 showrooms in Delhi, okay, Kolkata, and Bangalore, each serving a different market in India, if you can recall. Okay, then capacity of the facilities and how these decisions are evaluated. Periodically, the decisions taken with respect to facilities are evaluated based on capacity, realization, cycle time of production, and by calculating actual average flow. Okay. So I hope yes. So we have discussed till here. Then yeah, also we started the second driver inventory. Okay. So we have learned about the role of inventory in competitive strategy, then decisions taken with respect to inventory component in supply chain, the cycle in decisions with respect to cycle inventory, decisions with respect to safety inventory, decisions with respect to seasonal inventory. Okay. Okay. So, any student can you recall from where we are supposed to continue? From this slide, sorry, this slide or this slide? From where we have to continue? Sorry?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, we are yet to discuss seasonal inventory, sir.
This one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we continue with the decisions taken with respect to inventory component. Then the third decision taken with respect to inventory is a seasonal inventory. So inventory built up to counter predictable variability in demand. Okay, the predictable variability in demand is the variation in demand which can be measured with fair accuracy. Say for example, the demand for soft drinks increases during summer. So this variability in demand for soft drinks in summer is predictable, and it can be measured to a fairly accurate. Okay, so how much inventory the company should have, soft drink company should have during summer? So we call it as seasonal inventory. So the decision with respect to how much additional inventory should be built up or maintained during the season is called a seasonal inventory decisions. And the manager need to consider the cost of carrying additional inventory versus the cost of flexible production. Okay. So if the company carries too much inventory, okay, during the season, okay, so this additional inventory can be carried, okay, by way of outsourcing the production versus cost of flexible production. So company should have a production capacity flexible in a way, okay. So in the same plant where they can manufacture some other products, okay. So during monsoon and winter, other than soft drinks, and in the summer they can dedicate the plant for manufacturing only soft drinks because the demand will be peak. Okay. So this kind of a flexible production capacity, whether the company should have or okay to meet the additional demand during the season, or they should maintain or carry additional inventory which is manufactured by third-party contractors. Okay, so this way the overall trade-off the manager has to take is between responsiveness and efficiency. So if they take the decisions, okay, for example, to carry more inventory in each case, be it cycle inventory, safety inventory, or cycle inventory. If the manager makes a decision to carry more inventory, okay, so this will increase the responsiveness of the supply chain because the distributor or the manufacturer will be able to supply all the orders. So there will be very little demand which will be unmet. But the cost of carrying additional inventory will be higher, so which will bring down the efficiency. So the supply chain will not be a low cost supply chain. Same way, if the manager decides to carry low level of inventory, definitely the inventory carrying cost will be lower, so the supply chain will be more efficient, but okay, the responsiveness of the supply chain decreases. When you carry lower level of inventory, all the demands will not be met. So we call this supply chain is not very responsive. It is not responding to the orders placed by distributors or retailers. Okay. So there is something called the optimal level of inventory, okay, which is $1 million question as to what is optimal level of inventory. But though with the past data and with certain softwares like management decision support systems, okay, and with the intellect of the managers and expertise of the manager, they try to arrive at some inventory which is optimal according to company. Okay, so that is how companies try to manage the inventory decisions. Okay, then I'll take your questions after this slide. So how these inventory related decisions are evaluated? So supply chain managers make decisions related to inventory component. We learned now. Okay, cycle inventory, safety inventory, seasonal inventory. So what is the level of inventory to be carried? So whether the decisions were okay, good or bad. Okay, so whether these decisions increase the responsiveness of the supply chain or not, whether these decisions increase the efficiency of the supply chain or not. So these decisions are evaluated by way of evaluating the average inventory, fill rate, and fraction of time out of stock. So the inventory related metrics, okay, the metrics, okay, that are used in evaluating inventory decisions include average inventory. Average inventory measures average amount of inventory carried, okay, measured in units and financial value. Okay, so the inventory should not be below average, nor should be above average. So how many times the inventory went below average or above average? So that can be evaluated by the managers. Then fill rate. fill rate measures the fraction of orders that were met on time from inventory. Okay, it is nothing but say distributors place orders with the manufacturer. So let us say if there are 500 distributors who have placed orders, how many distributors orders were delivered on time? So we call that a fill rate. Okay, so I can recall when I was working for a pharmaceutical company. So I had two distributors in Tumkuru. So they used to place orders. Okay, and when the order was delivered, okay, and I used to visit the distributor, okay, they always used to complain. Okay, like say for example, the distributor had ordered 50 boxes of bromelain, right, the antibiotic, amoxicillin, and okay, okay, another combination. So he used to receive say about 40 boxes of bromelain. Okay, so 10 boxes short. So we say the fill rate is only 80% with respect to that one medicine, that is bromelain. So overall order, if we consider whatever orders he has placed, the type of medicine and the quantity. Okay, if it is exactly all the medicines in the right quantity, if they are delivered, we call the fill rate is 100%. Otherwise, if it is less, okay. So if all the medicines are not supplied, all the medicines are not supplied as per the quantity ordered by the distributor, we say the fill rate is lower, like 90%, 80%, and so on. Okay. So fill rate can also evaluate the inventory related decisions, whether the inventory was sufficient or not to meet the incoming orders. Then fraction of time out of stock measures the fraction of time that a particular SKU, you are retailing students, you should remember SKU is one stock keeping unit. Okay. SKU is one stock keeping unit. Say for example, Colgate dental cream, okay, 100-gram toothpaste. So one particular variant, in a particular size, Colgate dental cream, 100-gram. One item is called as one SKU. So inventory has to be maintained for each variant of each size. Okay. So one SKU is one item. So for how many days a particular item was out of stock. So for each item, okay, this information is now available due to the ERP software that companies use. Okay, organized retailers, I'm talking. Unorganized retailers, they will not have any data like this. Okay. So if there are many SKUs or many product items that were out of stock for many days, okay, it means the inventory decisions were not right. Okay, so a low level of inventory was maintained by the managers, okay, which resulted in fraction of time out of stock for many items. And the problem with this is many orders will not be met. Sales will be lost by the company. Okay. So yeah, so I hope we have sufficiently covered the decisions with respect to inventory. So any questions related to inventory? What is inventory? Okay, then what are inventory related decisions and how inventory related decisions are evaluated using inventory related metrics? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank
No,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Yes. Okay, then any student who has read any article, anybody found out supply chain magazine, e-magazine online, anybody read article? Anybody who read a news from newspaper would like to share it in the class? Okay, there is pin drop silence. Okay, very good. Thank you. So let's move on to the third driver of supply chain, transportation. Okay. The facilities, inventory, and transportation. These are referred to as logistical drivers. Okay, so logistical drivers. Okay, remember. So they need like land, building, vehicles. Okay, like factories, warehouses, trucks. Okay, so I hope you can understand. These are logistical drivers. Whereas the cross-functional drivers save information. Okay, you only need IT, hardware and software. Pricing, you don't need anything. You need manager decisions. Okay, so I hope you can recall. So these cross-functional drivers, okay, flow throughout all the 6 drivers of supply chain that interact with each driver of the supply chain. Okay, anyway, so we'll discuss that later. But now let us continue the third type of logistical driver, transportation. Okay, so transportation, what is the role of transportation in supply chain? Simple, transportation moves the product between stages in the supply chain. For example, raw materials movement of raw material from supplier to manufacturer, or movement of finished goods from manufacturer to distributor. So transportation moves the product between stages in the supply chain. And transportation has impact on responsiveness and efficiency. Okay, that is what we are learning, how supply chain drivers influence responsiveness and efficiency of any supply chain. Okay, the faster transportation allows greater responsiveness but lower efficiency. See, the most expensive mode of transportation is air mode of transportation. AIR, air, I'm talking. Okay, air cargo services are also available, like how in India we know VRL transportation, for example. Okay, they have road transportation, they carry goods, okay, by the mode of road transportation. Same way, air transportation is also available to carry or move goods in supply chain. So air mode of transportation through aeroplanes, cargo aeroplanes, is the most expensive. So the supply, if any company uses air mode of transportation, it means it will be very expensive. So the supply chain will not be very efficient. The cost of supply chain will be high. But air mode of transportation is also the fastest mode of transportation. The company will be able to deliver to its customers within a very shorter period of time. Okay, so try to understand. If the distance between the supplier and the buyer is far, okay, then the while other mode of transportation will take more number of days to deliver the goods from supplier point to buyer point, air mode of transportation will deliver the goods within very less number of days. Okay, so the supplier can deliver the goods very faster to the buyer. So the responsiveness of the supply chain will be very high. So this way, transportation impacts responsiveness and efficiency of the supply chain. Same way, if the company uses a slow mode of transportation, okay, say for example, ships are the slowest mode of transportation, but they're also the most economical mode of transportation. Walmart, for example, uses ship mode of transportation. Okay, so the cost will be low, hence the supply chain achieves efficiency. But since it is slowest mode of transportation, the supply chain will be less responsive. Okay, and transportation also affects inventory and facility decisions. Okay, say for example, if a company makes use of faster mode of transportation, in that case, okay, the buyer can maintain lower level of inventory, because before that inventory gets lower, again another faster delivery will come. Okay, and if the mode of transportation is slower, like ship for example, the buyer has to maintain a large stock of inventory because the delivery of the next consignment will be late. Okay, so I hope you can understand. And what is the role of transportation in competitive strategy? Okay, I have explained you what is the competitive strategy. I have given you example of Hewlett Packard, HP, and Dell. Okay, competitive strategies. I have given you the example of Pizza Hut and Domino's. How both are trying to serve the same target market, but with the two different business models. These are referred to as a competitive strategy. So what is the role of transportation in competitive strategy? If responsiveness is a strategic competitive priority, speed is the strategic competitive priority, then faster transportation modes can provide greater responsiveness to customers who are willing to pay for it. Okay, so remember, so when a supplier arranges for the shipment or transportation through air mode of transportation, so it's the customer who has to bear the transportation expenses. Okay, so if the customer is willing to pay for the additional expenses, Okay, so faster mode of transportation can be considered because for customer or buyer, responsiveness or speed is a strategic competitive priority. Okay, so it can also use slower mode of transportation for customers whose priority is price. Okay, so that is how it goes on. See, a very simple example I can give you. If you go to post office, okay, though the transaction might have decreased, okay, but still if you go to post office and you want to send an ordinary letter, a postcard for example, okay, so you purchase the postcard, you write the information, address, you put it in the post box. So that will cost you, I don't know, around maybe 1 rupee, 2 rupee, okay. So your work is done. But if you want the message to reach next day or within 72 hours or faster, so you will subscribe to a service called as speed post. So depending on the destination, speed post can deliver your message or letter to the recipient very next day or within 72 hours. But you need to pay more. Okay. So if your priority is speed, you will go for faster mode of transportation. So in case of post office example, I will say speed post. And if your priority is price, you want to save cost, you can go for the ordinary post. It is just an analogy, huh? It is not an example to make you understand. Okay, so the role of transportation in competitive strategy. Then it can also consider both inventory and transportation to find the right balance. So that is illustrated here with the example of Domino's Pizza. So Domino's Pizza maintains a small menu. So remember, small menu means low level of inventory of the food ingredients like the dough, okay, or flour. Okay, flour for example, then the spices, the cheese, okay, the vegetables, okay. So all these, the inventory of all these ingredients will be low level. Okay, and they use faster mode of transportation, motorcycles within a city. So this is how a company can choose, okay, a faster mode of transportation while maintaining a lower level of inventory. Okay, a similar example also can be given for Dell. Okay, Dell is a personal computer maker. Okay, so it is also a IT solution provider. Okay, and one of the suppliers of Dell is Intel. Okay, so Intel processors. So Dell receives its Intel processors when they place orders, okay, by way of air cargo or air mode of transportation. So the mode of transportation is faster, and that is the reason why Dell maintains a low level of inventory of Intel processors, because okay, so very frequently and very quickly they will receive their next consignment as and when they order. So Dell maintains a lower level of Dell uses faster mode of transportation, that is air mode of transportation. So though it is expensive, but the additional increase in expense in transportation is offset or compensated by the low level of inventory. Low level of inventory leads to lower inventory carrying costs. This is what the meaning of. It can also consider both inventory and transportation to find the right balance. Dell does it as well as Domino's does it. Okay. Then components of transportation decisions. So what decisions a manager has to make with respect to transportation? So definitely the first is the mode of transportation. Air, that is the air cargo, okay, aeroplanes. Then a truck, rail, ship, pipeline. This is basically to carry crude oil. Then electronic transportation for download of softwares. Okay, so each of these mode of transportation vary in cost. For example, air mode of transportation is most expensive, okay, but fastest, whereas ship mode of transportation is most economical but slowest. Okay, so they vary in cost, speed, size of shipment, and flexibility. Okay, then route and network selection. Okay, the road, typically route means the network of road through which a vehicle travels. We call it as route. So route is the path along which a product is shipped or a vehicle travels. Okay, so that route also has to be determined so that the route is shortest route traveled to save the transportation costs and to enable to reduce the number of traveling days. The network is a collection of locations and routes. Locations are nothing but facilities. For example, manufacturing plants from where the goods have to be loaded onto the truck, for example. Then routes include the route through which the truck will travel and reach out to different other locations like distributor 1. Okay, unload deliver the goods, then travel to another distributor 2, deliver his order, travel by a route and reach out to distributor 3 and make the delivery of the order of the distributor 3. So this collection of locations and routes is referred to as network. So the managers need to take decisions with respect to route and network. Anyway, we'll learn more about network in another chapter. And the decision of whether the transportation function should be performed in-house means whether the company should purchase the trucks, and perform the transportation of perform the function of transportation in-house or outsource it to a third-party transportation company. See, Walmart, for example, performs the function of transportation in-house. Okay, they have their own fleet of trucks. Whereas in Dharwad, I gave you example, Varun Beverages, for example, or KMF, for example, okay, they have outsourced the function of transportation to third-party logistic providers. Okay, and in this case also the manager has to make the overall trade-off between responsiveness and efficiency. Responsiveness and efficiency. Okay. Students, I hope you can still see the PowerPoint slides.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, then the overall trade-off the manager has to make is between responsiveness and efficiency. Say, for example, if the company makes use of faster mode of transportation, it can achieve a high level of responsiveness, but to some extent, the efficiency of the supply chain will be reduced. Means the cost will increase. At the same time, if the company makes use of slower mode of transportation, okay, it help increase efficiency, means it help reduce cost in the supply chain, but to some extent it reduces responsiveness of the supply chain. So the manager has to strike the right balance. Okay, so this we'll discuss. Okay, or I think I have time, so I'll finish it and go for attendance. And how these decisions, okay, more decisions with respect to mode of transportation, decision with respect to route and network selection, decision with respect to in-house or outsource, okay, are evaluated. So transportation decisions are evaluated using the following metrics. Average inbound transportation cost measures cost of bringing product into a facility as a percentage of sales. Okay, so manufacturer places orders for raw materials from the supplier, and supplier arranges for the transportation of raw materials from his point to manufacturing point. Okay, so what is the cost of this transportation? Bringing the raw materials into a manufacturing unit, okay, as a percentage of the sales, and whether it can track the trend since last 5 years, 10 years, whether the average inbound transportation cost is increasing or decreasing. So if it is decreasing, it means the transportation related decisions are correct. Average outbound transportation cost measures the cost of sending a product out of facility to customer. Okay, for example, so whatever after the goods are manufactured in the unit, so when the goods are transported from factory to the distributor point, so how much does it cost to the company? And what is the percentage of this cost compared to the total sales? Okay, so both these costs should always show declining trend, or at least they should be maintained at a particular level. So the decisions should be made in such a way where average inbound transportation cost as well as average outbound transportation cost should be lower as a percentage of sales. Okay, here I can give a very classic example of one of the Indian company, Everready Batteries. So after a careful analysis of its transportation decisions, okay, careful observation, what everyday supply chain managers learned that, so those trucks that entered into the factory premises of Eveready, okay, carrying raw materials, okay, they came full truck, okay, of raw materials. They unloaded the raw materials into the factory premises, and all the trucks left the premises empty. Remember, the transportation cost is always charged two-way. When you hire a taxi, remember, you don't pay only for one way, even though you get down. You pay for both the ways. Same way, the transportation cost is also paid for both the ways. Okay. So the everyday truck, okay, everyday company observed that the trucks carrying raw materials, when they entered into the factory premises, they were fully loaded, and they unloaded the raw materials in the factory premises, and they left the, okay, factory empty without any goods. Okay, in order to reduce that average outbound transportation cost, okay, or average inbound transportation cost, what they made a decision, every truck that is leaving out of the factory premises empty, something should be loaded onto that truck, and which can be delivered on the route in which it is going. Okay, a very smart decision, and to a greater extent, okay, the Eveready company was able to bring down the average inbound transportation cost. Okay, these are smart decisions. Okay, and classic examples which you should not forget. Okay, so I hope you can understand what supply chain is now by this time. If you have any queries, you prepare your questions and note them. Ask after the attendance. Okay, now I'm going to take attendance. So please pay attention. First is Nishad, Aditya, Aishwarya,
Present, sir.
Akshata,
Present, sir.
Akshay Pujari, Akshay Kulkarni,
Present, sir.
Akshay Koradkeri,
He is present, sir.
present. Ankita,
Present, sir.
Anusha,
Present, sir.
Apeksha,
Yes, sir.
Arpita, Ashutosh,
Present, sir.
Ashwini,
Yes, sir.
Prasad,
Yes, sir.
Supriya,
Present, sir.
Divya,
Present, sir.
Gautam,
Present, sir.
Geeta,
Yes, sir.
Geetanjali,
Present, sir.
yeah, Guru Raj,
Present, sir.
Hanumantarai,
Sir.
yes, Bhimaya,
Present, sir.
Alaya,
Present, sir.
Karthik, Manjur, Manoj,
Sir.
Manoj is present. Meghna Kalburgi, Meghna Lokhande, Nagaratna,
Present, sir.
Nandan,
Present, sir.
Navya,
Yes, sir.
yes, Nidhi,
Yes, sir.
Nikita, Pooja,
Present, sir.
Pradeep, Pramod, Ranjali,
Present, sir.
Prashant, Prema,
Present, sir.
Priya, Rahul,
Present, sir.
Ram,
Present, sir.
Rohit,
Yes, sir.
Varsha,
Present, sir.
Samuel, Sharan, Sharayu,
Present, sir.
Shilpa,
काय बटन दाबून
Shreya,
Present, sir.
Srinidhi,
Present, sir.
Shruti,
Present, sir.
Shweta Kokane,
Present, sir.
Shweta Kalkeri,
Present, sir.
yes, Snehal,
Present, sir.
Suchitra,
Present, sir.
Sudarshan, Sudha,
Present, sir.
Suman,
Yes, sir.
Maruf, Vaishnavi,
Present, sir.
Vishal, Sharadhi.
Present, sir.
Okay. So if anybody has missed your attendance, send me a
Sir, Akshay Kodikere, sir.
mark present.
Thank you.
If anybody has missed your attendance, you can send me a message to my individual WhatsApp number. Okay. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the next class. Okay. So marketing students again will meet at 12:30. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay. Good day to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank
you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, welcome. Welcome.